topic of college athletes being paid liquid compensation rather than just scholarships has created tons of uncertainty for the future of college sports. From junior colleges to almost all Division I sports universities, athletes put tons of commitment, preparation, and pain into fulfilling their team responsibilities. Now, people think that if players can bargain over their working conditions, that they'll expect to be paid as professional athletes. And this may change college sports forever. For the NCAA, it would be a huge blow. And for universities, it would surely take money out of their pockets. But what about the players? What about the non-scholarship given walk-on player who sacrificed sweat and tears to make that team? Today, I'm here to bring awareness and change to something that has hindered college sports for years. I will cover the incomes for the NCAA, reasons why athletes should receive compensation, and the bonuses that will come from it. According to an article written in 2013 by MSNBC and local Trailblazers reporter Chris Haynes, wrote in 2010 that the NCAAB agreed with CBS Sports and Turner Television on a $10.8 billion deal spread over 14 years. That equals $770 million a year. In March of 2014, IndySport.com stated that the NCAA made $912.8 million, 84% of which was made just from the few-week March Madness tournament. While for some athletes going pro, the education may not be worth a lot, some it is, but most not. But what about the athletes not guaranteed on scholarships, or athletes who are getting little to no aid at all, but are contributing to bring in their money for their respective sports teams and colleges? In 2009, University of Oklahoma player Kevin Hardrick suffered a knee injury. He was on scholarship, but his scholarship was not renewed the following year, according to MSNBC sports reporter Chris Haynes. His mother could not afford the insurance deductibles for Kevin. Kevin is just one of hundreds of athletes who have played for major schools who have lost their scholarships due to injury or illness. And not only is their scholarship affected, but their health is affected and their own personal wallets is affected. What does the NCAA lose? Nothing but a player that they can replace. Student athletes are employees for their college and should be paid as such. In January 2010, Forbes.com contributor Mark Edelman stated that although the NCAA claims that college athletes are just students, the NCAA's own tournament schedule requires students to miss class for nationally televised games that bring in revenue for the school. Also, that a typical Division I college player devotes 43.3 hours of their work week to their dedicated sport. 3.3 hours more than the average person's work week in America. And if that isn't crazy, then maybe the fact that 40 out of 50 of the highest paid public officials in each state were none other than their head state basketball or football head coach. College student athletes are just that. Student athletes who are talented at their respective sport and are young adults in college. But when an athlete who brings in a large amount of money for a school goes down with an injury or illness playing for their team, shouldn't they receive some kind of compensation? A student should be required to keep their grades up, show up to classes, and of course represent their school pridefully. But when grades don't matter and class attendance isn't important during a large money-making television game, shouldn't they be considered as a school employee? The NCAA needs to better protect college athletes and pay them with a livable income rather than with a possibly non-guaranteed scholarship. The NCAA is making tons while half the kids playing for them are making little to nothing at all. Today I've told you how student athletes are looking more like entertainers to the NCAA and more like entertainers to us in the normal world. And that's fine, but they should also be paid for their services if indeed that's what they are to the NCAA.